don't think you give yourself enough credit. I think you're beautiful when you talk, and just go with the flow.
Oh yeah.
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 No worries if you say so. Well, yeah. Well, today is the first day, right? Day one after tea. So
That's right. First,
I mean, I can't say because we have a lot of Republican guests. I had two. I had a Republican senator stay with me.
And we're live right now.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live. Good morning to our travel partners. Thank you for joining us. We were talking a little bit of politics a while ago, but this is like, we always try to avoid the politics.
Great way to start the day.
Yeah, but good morning for all those we have a few people already on. Yep. Let's wait for a few more people to come on. And then.
So, Konrad, what is the temperature today?
I don't know. I never. Warm. My guess is about 88 or something like that. Maybe 90.
Beautiful.
I don't know.
It looks so beautiful.
My guess, it's 88.
Yeah.
Like 70.
5 degrees.
Yeah. So casually.
Yeah.
88. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to our coffee chat. And today we have a very special guest with us, all the way from St. Lucia, who's talking about the weather, 80 to 88 degrees. How nice. So today we have the beautiful Calabash Cove, and we're so pleased that we have the managing director / owner with us today. Those are the type of people you need to know, and this is why we have him here with us today. And we also have Nicole Barrett with Great Travelpreneur and also SP Global. Nicole is one of the salesperson for Calabash, and so am I. And we also have Dewey. So we have a whole team here with for you to talk about Calabash Cove and all what's going on. So for those of you who are not too familiar with Calabash Cover, I'm going to try and show you just an intro video, and then Nicole will share some slides with you, and then we're going to go to Konrad, and he's talking live from Calabash Cover. I think he's in one of the villas. I can see a pool behind him.
Yeah.
Quite nice. Yep. What would
Very
I do
nice.
in that pool right now?
Very nice.
Okay, so let me do this. We're gonna do this one. Can you see the video?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, looks great. Yep.
Wow, listen to that sound.
I know, right?
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did.
That was beautiful.
It was.
Okay, let me gonna stop sharing, and then
Yes, I'm about to share my screen right now, if that's okay, folks. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of Calabash Cove, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time because why do that when we have Konrad right there?
Yeah,
Like he's literally sitting right there. The real deal. And I mean, I'm going to show my photos, but please don't get too distracted by what you're seeing my screen, right, guys?
Yes, you
Yes,
can
we
see
can.
it.
Yes,
Looks
we
great.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right. So don't get too distracted by Konrad at the moment. Bring it back to me. Bring it back to me.
Konrad is you right now.
That's me right now. So welcome, folks. Again, you have some great people here on the panel. And I'm just going to give you a brief overview. Like I said, I mean, Konrad is there, so he's going to be able to answer any questions that you have, and also to be able to give you all the information in real time. Okay. But just to remind you about Calabash Cove, it is a luxury boutique resort located in the beautiful Bay of Bonaire in St. Lucia.
I like the way you say Bonaire.
Bay of Bonaire. Perfect for relaxing, as you can see Konrad doing there right now. And, whether you're catching the sunset, from the sea bar, or you're walking on the beach, both are awesome. Everything there is fantastic. It is an all suites resort. And what I like about this luxury or small luxury boutique hotel or resort is that it's all the rooms are suites, and there are 26 of them. Okay. All with a view of the ocean, which is, for me, I mean, going through everything that we're going through right now,
We
is
need that.
a perfect better way to just be like, okay, let's wash it all off, right?
Picture yourself right there.
Exactly. There is an EP plan available as well as an AI plan, but just to give you some, very quick, unique selling points that you may want to consider when talking to your guests. Like I said, located in blissful Bonaire Bay, very private ocean views and sunset views, perfect for couples, destination weddings, and VAR renewals. Small groups are perfect for this resort. So if you have a small group that you're thinking about, that you're thinking, okay, this would be great. It is a great time now to reconnect. We're going into an era now where people want to reconnect with each other. They want to travel with the people who they haven't seen in a long time, like the people who matter the most. Okay. This is the perfect resort for that. So when you're thinking about that, try to, put Calabash Cove in that situation when you're selling. Luxury and seclusion, but still close to the activity. So it's the best of both worlds, right? So if they need the tours, that they're there, the personal and detailed services above par, and of course, the exceptional room service is definitely some of the things that your clients will want to go for if they're traveling under these types of circumstances. Traveling now in St. Lucia and many parts of the world looks differently, but here's what it looks like at Calabash Cove. Just a reminder for you guys. There's contactless registration currently. Luggage are being sanitized. There's an app that allows you to have access to all the services from the comfort of your room. There is a bar and restaurant. All of that, if you decide to eat in the restaurant, are configured to provide ample space for social distancing. Housekeeping is also structured as such, following all the rules. And of course, hand sanitizer everywhere. Masks are mandatory. Employees are wearing masks at all times, which is very important. And of course, the tours and the transfers and all of that are following the guidelines as set forth by the resort itself, as well as the island of St. Lucia. But, things are changing all the time, as we saw over the past couple of weeks. And that is why we're going to have Konrad go over some of these changes right now, what the resort is doing to implement some of these. And then you can ask him about his background. Okay, that's it. Proper background behind him.
Yes.
And that's it. You can stop paying attention to me now. Welcome, Konrad.
Now we can go to Calabash Cove now.
Yes.
So
Sure.
good morning, Konrad. So you give us an update on what's going on. I know one of the questions we've had two questions about the testing on property, on site, and also if anybody tests positive, what happens?
Yeah, well, ladies, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I mean the buzzword now is social distancing. Before I get into your questions, I'll be happy to answer all of them. The buzzword is now give everybody a little space, social distancing, and I always say we did that a long time ago, right? We always had a lot of space for everybody. We always had 3-4 feet between lounge chairs. We always had space in the restaurant between tables because it's just the kind of place it was, right? It always allowed everybody to have a little privacy for himself or herself. And then I'm a firm believer that luxury is not just gold and silver and shiny things, but also privacy, a little elbow space, the ability to make a choice and a decision in peace, to have a team member, an employee that's able to talk to you, right? That has actually the time to spend 10 or 15 minutes to just talk to you, that doesn't have to hustle to the next room if he or she has to clean 16 rooms a day before the shift is over. So luxury can be many different things. And maybe the new priorities in terms of experiences for people as they travel and the space situation is really something that comes really natural to us. You're right. With the new guidelines and protocols from the United States, it is very important to portray or send a message of confidence, to give the people a little degree of confidence when they travel, that they're not alone, that they're not hanging there, that they say, well, you bought the tickets, now it's up to you. I think otherwise we find it very difficult to convince people even to give us their hard-earned money and stay with us and give up the comfort of their home, even though maybe that has shrunk on them in the last few months anyway. So as far as the tests are concerned, for North American travelers, it's very easy because you require an antigen test. And antigen tests are fairly simple to administer. The PCR test that is required in some other places is more complicated. And we just did a PCR test this morning for some English people that are traveling. The antigen test, we buy the swabs basically, and the hotel has a medical station where the nurse will take the swab, and the nurse has to take it to the lab. Nobody else is allowed to interrupt that chain. So the nurse has to take it to the lab. And then basically, from the moment the swab reaches the lab, the clock starts ticking, right? From then you have the 72 hours that the result has to be when you re-enter the United States or enter the United States. And so if people stay for 7 nights or longer, we pay for it. If they're shorter stays, we charge them $50 to all the running around with them. That way they do it in the hotel right after breakfast, and the result gets emailed with them usually within 2-3 hours, right? But the disclaimer is in 24 to 48 hours. But generally they say by the time we get the antigen swab, within half an hour we'll have the result. So that gets emailed to the guest, and they save it and show it when they check in at the airport. And for people that go other places, it's a little more complicated because PCR swabs have to be refrigerated at all times. They only have a shelf life of 7 days, right? So once you buy the swab, you have to make sure you do a test within 7 days. Otherwise, you have to throw it away. And the test is considerably more expensive. So for people that go places where a PCR test is, we have to charge them $120 per person. But that does not apply to US travelers anyway.
Okay. Can you clarify? I'm sorry, I was going to say, can you clarify the 7 days versus the less than 7 days? Can you clarify that a little bit?
Well, we're really very flexible, right? Because the policy says 7 paid nights, but really and truly, if somebody finds a way to work the promotion and it's 6 nights, we usually pay for the test too, just to not split hair over it. But if somebody stays in the hotel for less than that number of nights, a short stay, then we don't absorb the cost of the test. We still do the test and all the work, but we have to charge them about $50 for it. That's still under negotiation. It may drop by $10. We don't know yet. But the problem is that the nurse has to drive there to pick up the swabs. Then she has to come to the hotel, do the test, and then she has to take him immediately to the hospital. The swabs have to reach the lab within 2 hours of being swabbed, right? So they can't put it in a fridge and once a week or once a day takes the lab the swabs in. They want them that the sample is not older than 2 hours, and it has to be refrigerated constantly. So she has to travel with an ice box to take it to the lab.
So Barbara is asking, during the time from test to the results, do they have to quarantine or do they have access to the full result? I don't think they have to quarantine for the return trip, Konrad, do they? No.
Good. No, that's only. Okay. There's a lot of confusion, and unfortunately, many destinations have different rules, and then on top of it, they change every other month or every other week in some cases. The nice thing about St. Lucia is St. Lucia announced protocols in July when the island reopened up and has really never changed it. The only change that they came about is because of new protocols being introduced in our markets, in our destinations, in our source markets. And so then certain things had to be implemented on the island, like that test. But the assumption is that you have a test before you enter St. Lucia, that you take it home, you take the PCR test at home, you put that on your phone, and you register online that you're traveling, right? Most people are familiar with that. You have to register because once you say to the government that you're staying at Calabash Cove from the 25th of January, the tourism authority actually sends an email to the hotel and say, is Joe Blow really staying with you on the 27th of January? And only if we say, yes, we have a valid reservation, will they green light these people to travel, right? Most travelers don't even know that. And so the assumption is once they're at the hotel, that they're healthy, that there are no issues. But the United States of America doesn't believe this because they are not familiar with the protocols that the islands have. They don't realize that you operate in a much more sterile and safer environment than anywhere in North America, because everybody's temperature gets taken twice a day. All the employees have medical checks. Their temperature gets taken twice a day. It goes into a database. That database gets submitted to a government site where an algorithm checks it if there's a change in the temperature, and then sanitation and all that stuff. Team members, for example, are not allowed to wear the same clothes that they wear at work, on the bus, or at home, right? So all the uniforms are either sanitized in the hotel or washed in the hotel so that there can be no cross-contamination between the inside and the outside. And once we're assuming that a visitor also comes healthy, it is very, very unlikely that he gets contaminated while in the hotel or while under a COVID protocol organized excursion, or while they climb the pitons or whatever. So that is fairly safe. But unfortunately, and I understand US protocol says who knows what you do when you are outside the country, we want you to take a test anyway. And so we then come into play with these antigen tests that are done. They're very, very easy. So it's the first ones are a little more painful to organize it. But once it's done at the hotel, it takes virtually 5 minutes between breakfast and going to the beach.
That's good to know. So,
If you don't want to do it at the hotel, right, you have the option to also go to a government facility. You could take a certified car to take you to the facility, but it will take you probably 4 or 5 hours to get it done.
So it's easier at the hotel. So Phyllis just asked, and we spoke about that earlier on. What happens if a guest is tested positive?
Yeah, in the very unlikely case that you test positive between arriving and leaving, we will put you up for free. I said anybody that tests positive on the last test for sure, we will let them stay at the hotel as our guest. We won't charge them for the accommodation. We will charge them for the meals and the beverages that they consume while they're there. We will put them into a water's edge cottage that isolates them, and they will probably only have direct contact with the hotel nurse or somebody else in protective gear. That's unfortunately the protocol, and it would only apply for people that are asymptomatic, right? It is only for people that test positive, but not in any medical danger. Now, if they get severely sick and show bad symptoms, it's beyond our control. Then they have to go to a government facility, and then unfortunately, charges will apply. It is possible. We don't know. The only reason why we just announced this, the quarantining for free at the hotel, is because we really were only told last week by the chief medical officer that we are allowed to do this in hotels that are suitable to do that. Now, not every hotel will be able to do this because they need to have accommodation units that can isolate, right? And we would stick them in Cottage 5. There's only flowers around, and they would just have to stay there. The only challenge we have is we have to insist that they don't sneak out at midnight and go for a swim in the ocean. I think that's where I see the trouble, right? But yeah, I mean, it should take the fear of people traveling. Hopefully.
Correct. Yeah. And if you see the cottages, you don't want to quarantine in that cottage.
Well, it happens also. I mean, I tell you, sometimes guests show up and they don't read the small print, and they show up with the wrong test, right? And the airlines missed it, so they end up here in St. Lucia. And when that happens, they get isolated. Then they have to do the test at the airport, and they come to the hotel, and they're not allowed to leave the room until test result is available. They can take 24 or 48 hours. That has happened a few times. We don't like to advertise it because then people will try to get on the flight without a test, right? So they really have to have a test to get here. But sometimes when they sneak through, in our case, it happened twice, right? And then one got the test the same afternoon, the result, so he was happy. One took 48 hours. That depends a little bit how many tests are in the pipeline, of course.
Okay, thanks for that.
Love that.
But what you find is the real value in going to a place like Calabash Cove on vacation is that the problems of the world, they get a different dimension, right? They become much smaller. They're no different. The same trouble, the same amount of people get sick in Florida or in Atlanta, wherever, the same rules apply in England. But once you're in a place like here, they're not in your face anymore, right? And as a guest a couple of weeks ago said to me, Konrad, you don't understand, right? One day here is better than 2 weeks vacation at home because it's not in your face. Not everybody talks about it. You don't go somewhere where you hear from a radio or somewhere that you have to do this, and so just got sick and all that. So it's also a psychological vacation.
Right.
So I see Laura is asking, what if negative test presented but temp is high? I don't know if I can answer that, or you can answer that, Konrad. I suppose the nurse will check you again.
If the test is negative, positive?
What if the negative test presented, but when they do the temperature, it's high? They have a temperature.
Yeah, one that there are different reasons there for temperature, right? So all that happens is that once they have for 2 days regular temperature and then it raises a red flag, right? And that's just not us. It goes into the database. It will say Konrad Wagner on the 3rd day of his stay, all of a sudden has a raised temperature. Then what will happen is he'll probably have to take the temperature more often, and we will tell them, listen, your temperature is raised. I mean, they know it anyway. They see it the moment you hold the gun to their wrist. They say, oh, and then they will say, yeah, sometimes my temperature is high. Or I just came in from the sun. I was baking in the sun, so it's a little raised. Because you can also artificially reduce it. If you hold your hand in front of the air conditioner and then take the temperature, the skin temperature is actually lower, right? So we have to watch it then, and the people would be told, and within 48 hours it goes back to normal. Otherwise, they will probably have to do the test there.
Okay, good to know. Let me see. We have any questions for Konrad?
I mean,
I don't see any more.
Are you all? Are most of the agents in the Atlanta area, or they were anywhere?
They're all over the place.
They're all over. We have Texas, Miami, DC, New York. We have from all over.
Mm-hmm. We have Massachusetts. Yeah.
I mean, the good thing is that the president has said he's not shutting down travel, so hopefully it stays that way. And I believe eventually people will realize that people don't get infected by going on a trip to the Caribbean.
Exactly.
They get infected and hanging out with their friends, the people they know really well, right? They may chat with them for hours over the fence if they have a house, or people at work that they don't think could be positive. And that's how all these cases spread. The same thing in St. Lucia. It takes a long time to get this across to the population. The problem is not the hotels or even a restaurant. The restaurants are so strict, right? The problem is the kids going home, playing with 10 other kids, sweating, wrestling, rolling in the grass, whatever. That's how it spread, if we like it or not.
Right.
So we have Texas, Nashville, South Carolina, DC. So we have agents from all over the place with us this morning.
Because I always like to show my picture to people in the north at this time of the year, right?
Of course.
That's the.
And I have to say, on behalf of the people in the north, we don't like that. It's good to dream, though.
And I I was actually hearing the water. I don't know if you guys heard the water behind. I was
Yeah.
hearing the ocean, and I'm like, I was listening to that while someone was speaking. So
Yeah, it's right there. I know.
yeah, we were hearing it.
Lovely, lovely. What I like though,
Yeah,
Konrad, is that I mean, and for everyone who's watching, whether it's you, I mean, your anxiety is probably raised about traveling around this time now with all the new changes, but I'm sure your clients' anxieties have gone up too as well. But what's beautiful is that, you just heard Konrad said that if for any reason they test positive, right? Here's the situation. And it doesn't sound like a bad situation to me, right? So you're going to be in a Water's Edge suite, and that's fine. You don't have to worry about the accommodation. Just pay for your meals. You would have had to do that at home anyway, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
if you're talking with your client and you're saying, okay, first step is to find out, are they okay with being quarantined if for any reason they test positive? Like once you've gone through the questions and kind of clarified your guests, all right, then you say, okay, well, here's a great property, and they have made it so much easier than all the other ones that I've heard where they're charging you to stay, whether it's discounted or not. I think it's fantastic.
And the property is amazing. Again, it's perfect for social distancing. So put it this way, your clients will not, hopefully not test positive. Now, somebody asked a question. Let me see, it was Laura who asked. I think we answered that before. Test results. You don't have to quarantine for the test results to return to the US because you've already brought in your PCR test. I know Konrad answered that earlier on during the presentation. So you have access to the full result unless you tested positive on arrival. That's right, Konrad?
yeah. If you tested positive on arrival, then you have to isolate. I mean, some people say, you know what, I'd rather isolate here anyway than at home in my living room. But the trouble really is if you test a couple, right? The second one that tests positive negative also has to isolate, huh? Because the assumption is the two of them were together too much. So one may have carrying the virus and the other one doesn't, but he still has to isolate just to play it safe. That's usually what is worrying. But no, I mean, it's the guest that did this said, listen, if this is the worst thing that happens to us, then I stay in my room for a day, right, until the result comes in.
I would stay in that cottage for 7 days. You can watch the ocean, you could hear it, the fresh air. I mean, come on, I would do it.
Yes.
What
I love that.
while you
Yeah,
wait?
and the other thing is that
Okay,
I think more and more people are saying that air travel is safer than it's believed to be. I mean, I haven't seen it recently, but a couple of weeks ago, I saw a statistic that the chances that somebody catches COVID on a plane is 1 in 27 million. Right? That's sort of like winning the lottery. Yeah.
So Barbara is not quite sure yet. So Barbara, question is, while you wait for the test results, do you have access to the property? If you're waiting for your test results to return to the US, you have access to the property because you're already on vacation. The only time you quarantine is if on arrival you test positive or if you had a fever during your vacation. That answers your question, Barbara?
But even if you have a fever, you're still
You still have access to the
still have
property.
access,
So the
right?
only time you quarantine is if you arrive on the destination and your results are positive. If you test again and your results are positive, but you're supposed to come in with a negative PCR test in the first place. Yeah. So that answers your question. Okay, she's fine. That's good.
Perfect.
Okay. So Julie, what time is it? We normally okay. We have a few more minutes. Wow, that was interesting. We normally do half hours, so that was good. So Julie is going to tell us about our event on February 1st again, Calabash Cove for our cocktails and sunset. So now you saw the view of the ocean and the pool. So on February 1st, we will show you what a sunset looks like at the beautiful Calabash Cove.
Yes.
So we will share cocktail recipe with you and we will have a beautiful guest. So Jimmy will tell us about our guest on that day.
Okay, so travel advisors, we are so excited. We're getting ready to you might have heard about it in the group. Our new campaign, it's a 12-month campaign and the theme is Gift the Caribbean. Gift the Caribbean, where we're straight off. We just celebrated Christmas. It was a different kind of Christmas. And of course, we've ushered in the new year, and we want to continue in a spirit of gratitude. So, Gift the Caribbean, essentially, we're telling people, listen, you've been on lockdown for several months. It's time to begin to plan your getaway. Gift yourself or someone you love with so many gifts that we have to offer in the Caribbean. So we have 12 gifts, starting with the gift of family, the gift of romance, the gift of solitude, the gift of exploration, family time, an extensive list, water sports, cuisine. And so we have come up with a toolkit which Task will provide to our travel advisors. And this will give you all of the MO you need to promote the Caribbean. We're also coordinating with all of the tourist boards, all of the resorts, any specials that are out there. We're going to put it in our portals so that you have all of you can do it on a comparative basis. I don't know how you guys do it. There's just so many things on offer these days. So we want to help you sift through some of these specials and to come up with some of the compelling offers so that you can curate some of the best experiences that your clients can enjoy. So you'll be hearing more about it, but we're going to, we like to do things in a very educational, but also entertainment type of environment. And so on February 1st, Kathy Sledge from the group Sister Sledge, she actually was gifted by Calabash Cove, and Konrad got to go on her show, and we surprised her with a gift. She's actually going to venture out to Calabash Cove in the spring, and she's going to do a live broadcast of her show with her beautiful daughter, Kristen, from the shores of St. Lucia at Calabash Cove. And she's going to be our spokesperson for the gift of family time. So come on, come join us on Monday, February 1st. It's 4:00.
4 p.m. Eastern time. Eastern time, not Central.
Yes, Eastern time. Thanks for correcting me. So this way, it's 4 for us here in the Northeast. It will be 5 at Calabash Cove in St. Lucia. And so we'll catch the sunset, the beautiful sunset. We'll have a mixologist. Kathy will be sure to perform a few bars from her song Family, talk about her show, and then we will officially launch Gift the Caribbean. We'll give you all of the collateral that you need to promote the entire Caribbean. We'll have some of our partners available. So it's going to be great. It's exactly what we need after, being on lockdown. It's very heartwarming to see that a lot of our travel advisors are actually venturing out. You guys are leading the charge, and you're actually traveling, so you can actually sell these experiences firsthand, and to really convince people that listen, it's safe to travel but you have to take certain precautions. Despite of and in spite of all of the challenges, travel is rebounding. So please join us on Monday, February 1st. And between now and then, you'll definitely get a lot more information about Gift the Caribbean. And we really want to thank Konrad for coming on board. I can't tell you how excited Kathy Sledge is about it.
She was so
she
excited.
Talks about it every time I talk to her. She's really excited.
And surprised as well. She was very much surprised. She had no clue that it was going to happen.
It was really.
And I wanted to remind the travel advisors that we will be doing. Konrad will show us one of the cottages. Hopefully, we'll walk around and show us the cottage before we go to the sunset. So hopefully, Konrad, we will see.
And hopefully, we have great weather. The last time we did this, we did something similar. Some of you might have joined us when we went to the British Virgin Islands, and we saw the Virgin Gorda Villa rentals. That we were blessed with a beautiful day, and it was such an authentic experience because they literally took the camera from room to room. We all got to see firsthand, unedited what this place looked like. And I know lots of you really, really enjoyed that. And of course, the mixologist, we were on the beach. It's amazing. So Konrad, we're ordering some good weather early. Tell the weather people in St. Lucia, we need a really great sunset and we need a nice clear afternoon to make this spectacular.
I've never seen a bad sun. Cove.
I would check the moon, right? The only time the weather is not steady is during the change of the moon phases. So
Okay.
2 or 3 days before full moon, the weather is not steady. Otherwise, you're safe.
I think it's going to be gorgeous either way.
Yeah. Kelly, do you have your almanac? We need our almanac. We need to go to the others and get our almanacs to figure this out.
So Konrad will give a cocktail recipe beforehand with the ingredients. So we'll put that on the page so you can make your cocktail and come with your cocktail, and then our mixologist will probably show us how to do it again during that time.
Yep, it's going to be spectacular. And again, it's Gift the Caribbean. It's time to really gift yourself. We've had enough of this lockdown. It's been almost a year. Enough is enough. It's time to travel again. You know, you have to do it safely, but there are ways to do it. And we have some amazing partners throughout the Caribbean who make it possible, and they make sure that your clients feel safe, they feel comfortable. It's time to travel. Let's do this. And we're going to kick this off on Monday, February 1st with Gift the Caribbean. So be on the lookout for our alerts, and we bring, invite your clients as well.
Yes, please do invite your clients so they can, and then you can tell them about the property so they'll have a glimpse of it and enjoy a nice afternoon with us. So thank you. Remember, Nicole and I do sales for Calabash Cover. So if you want a presentation, if you want anything, if you want any material, any images to put on social media, we are here to help you and to help you sell to the right clientele here. Calabash Cover is a very unique property, and Calabash Cove is a very unique property, and you have to qualify your clients for it. It's not for every type of person, and we'll help you qualify those clients for the beautiful resort. So thank you for all of everybody stayed on until that was wonderful. Nobody, we had
great questions too.
Yeah, and we knew they were going to ask those questions. They've been posting those questions. So thank you so much, Konrad, for this. This is beautiful. You make us want to come home. You make me want to come home. So that was fantastic. And anytime you want to come and join us, Konrad, please set up a watch party. Okay, I'll set up a watch party. So, anytime you want to come back and talk to us, or you could bring Rohan in, or Dexter would love that to talk to the staff, because I think it's nice for the agents to meet some of the staff and property as well. Those that you'll be dealing with, like reservation, Rohan, and I forgot the guy with the lock. I forgot his name. He's such a nice guy. Kevin. And then there is a waiter. I think he's a comedian. Oh my gosh, he's hilarious. So the staff is amazing. So the next time we come on, we'll have some of the staff on property so that you can get to know them and feel more comfortable selling the beautiful Calabash Cove. So thank you.
Yeah, maybe we do the tour with Rohan. Maybe we do the tour on Rohan in February.
Oh, Rohan, correct. Yes. So
and he loves it. He's very good. He loves it.
Yes. So Janet will be the next one. Okay.
Yeah, Janet's going next month. So
she's very excited. So
thank you. Going for her birthday. Happy birthday, Janet.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julie.
Welcome. This was great. Thank you so much, Konrad. We'll see you.
Imagine what the cocktail and sunset will be. With a little bit more alcohol, we kind of get loose a little bit more. So
bring your dancing shoes.
The rum will help. The
rum will help. So we hope to see all of you for our cocktail. We'll be posting the invitation on in the group, so you will have a chance. And yes, I will remind you. And yes, I will set up a watch party.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, I do want to point something out, just FYI, and I want to remind Janet, for any of you who are at any point in the future, if you're visiting Calabash Cove, here's what I do for agents who are visiting, including Janet, is let me or Kelly know, But if you want to reach out to me and say, Nicole, I'm going, can you put together a marketing strategy for me? I can do that. So I can say to you, okay, here's what you do before you go. Here's what you put out there to the world before you go. Here's how you get your clients involved. Here's what you do while you're there. Here are the emails that you're going to send. Here are the photos that you're going to post. Here's how you're going to sell the resort. Here are the stories you're going to sell. I mean, it's going to tell, right? So if you want me to put together a strategy for you, let me know, and I'll help you put together a strategy for when you come back. If you're doing a virtual consumer event, or put together some sort of email marketing campaign when you come back. So Janet, and you and I talked about this. You're going to do that. I think we're talking sometime in the near future. But any of you, if you're planning on going in the future, let us know and we'll put together a marketing strategy for you so you can sell Calabash Cove the best way that you possibly can.
And then your images will just keep your clients engaged, entice them. So again,
exactly. But it has to be done the right way, yeah. Because we've seen it done in the past, and they're not always the best. So reach out to me, and I'll help you create a plan specifically for you. So, all right.
Cool.
So thank you all. Thank you, Konrad. Go and have a nice lunch. Don't tell us what it will be. There will be some fresh seafood.
Yeah.
Caesar salad with grilled mahi-mahi, but never mind.
One last thing, I forgot to mention that today is National Hugging Day.
Yeah, today's
You have to do a
National
virtual hug.
So,
Oh, really?
National Hugging Day.
today's
And
National Hugging Day. So,
Yeah, that's sweet.
we put a writing prompt in the chat that you can use to engage your clients. In times like these little connections are so important. And so venture over to our page. There's a writing prompt that you can use and a graphic to really send your wonderful clients a virtual hug today. Everyone could use a virtual hug after what we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. More than one. Yeah.
Yep. Great.
So,
All right.
again, thank you, everyone. That was wonderful, Konrad. We will see you again in February. Or any Thursday you want to join us with your team, we'd love to do that. Just to keep our agents, keep Calabash Cove in front of their faces, and coffee chat works well for that. So, thank you, Nicole.
Okay, good seeing you, Nicole. Take care.
You too, Dorit. Bye.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye, Conrad.
Bye, Konrad.
Great day.
Bye. Bye. You too.
Alrighty, bye.
Yeah.